smartphone market is much more competitive than what it used to be. Today, a flagship device represents the pinnacle of innovation of a smartphone manufacturer. Gionee A1 Plus is Gionee's latest flagship phone, which is one of the best phones Gionee has ever made. Launched in February of 2017, the Chinese manufacturer has taken a bold approach with this phone as it sports the biggest screen ever introduced in a Gionee smartphone. Though this phone contains some pretty impressive hardware, will it be enough to give this phone an edge over other flagship devices by manufacturers like Samsung? Well, let's find out in our review of the new Gionee A1 Plus. Gionee has stepped out of their comfort zone in regards to the size of the A1 Plus. This phone by far boasts the largest screen ever in a Gionee smartphone at 6 inches. The enormous body feels premium in hand and the middle body is bound to turn some heads. The phone has a neat design and doesn't shy away at distinguishing its colored power button below the volume rockers. The home button is somewhat similar to the Gionee A1 and has an embedded fingerprint scanner. Although all of this is impressive, it should be noted that the phone weighs heavy and will bring your pocket down because of its enormous body. But there are consumers who prefer phones with bigger screen that offers more than most of the competition. In fact, the only competition on the market should be the Samsung C9 Pro and the more expensive S8s. That doesn't mean that the phone is in any way bad. Screen on this phone is sufficiently bright and provides a good enough color range. The phone doesn't try anything fancy like putting on an AMOLED display, but sticks to the basics and cuts costs here and there to bring this phone at this price range. Gionee is famous for its mid-range selfie lineups like the Gionee S6 and S6s. A1 Plus follows these older generation models and builds upon them. It has a 20 megapixel selfie shooter with a f2.0 aperture. As you might have guessed, the selfies on this phone is exceptionally good. Pictures are detailed and well exposed to avoid any dark pictures with shadows. A quick recommendation from our side would be to incorporate autofocus features on the front camera as well. Moving on, the dual camera of A1 Plus, doesn't surprise us in any way. It offers two camera sensors on the back with 13 megapixel and 5 megapixel resolutions. There's no easy way to say this, but the dual camera system do not live up to our expectations. Many dual camera phones today offer a portrait mode that attempts to emulate the bokeh effect of DSLR cameras. The portrait mode is more like a gimmick rather than a good feature. The A1 Plus does take some decent portraits by blurring the background and focusing on the person, but the edges are likely to get blurred in the picture. This is because a dual camera setup requires optimized software and data to get the portrait pictures right. This feature, however, should get better with time, like the iPhone 7 Plus's portrait mode, if Gionee can match the standards set by Apple. To our surprise, the phone performed better than expected. The slightly less favored MediaTek processors runs common applications like Facebook and YouTube effortlessly. Gaming on the big screen is also entertaining and lag-free thanks to the 4 GB of RAM. But try playing a heavy 3D game and then you might suffer. Other than that, the phone is more than good enough for ordinary multitasking and watching movies. What completes the phone is the little features that add up. The software is Android 7.0 Nougat with the Amigo UI on top. There are easy optimizations for users for quick settings accessed by swiping from the lower screen and redesigned icons inspired by certain non-Android pioneers. The fingerprint sensor embedded in the home button is fast and responsive. While the phone has a big screen that drains a lot of power, the phone is properly balanced by a capable 4550 mAh battery. Coming to the batteries, the backup of this phone is a very useful perk. With continuous use, I got roughly 7 hours of screen on time that lasted me 2 days without any problem. During my usage, I watched some videos on YouTube, streamed some songs from SoundCloud, and did some basic web browsing accompanied by some gaming on the side. The battery drained faster while gaming, so I avoided long gaming sessions on the phone. Other than that, Gionee has used the big phone size to fit a bigger battery than most other phones. This is much appreciated. It is also worth mentioning that the A1 Plus has a dedicated noise cancellation mic so that you will have a pleasant audio experience. Well done Gionee for that. So, should you buy it? The decision is an easy one. Gionee A1 Plus costs around 50,000 in Nepal. It works brilliantly with a big screen, long-lasting battery and a powerful processor. With the nifty features of the phone and a price range of around 50,000, the A1 Plus is definitely a strong option for people looking to buy a new flagship device.